So, this week, a group of high-profile actors and musicians, including, obviously, the likes of Emma Thompson, we've got Olivia Colman, Bob Geldof, Geldof's piped up, have written a letter to Home Secretary James Cleverly condemning the deportation of a chap called Marcus Decker. Now, Decker is currently serving a prison sentence of 2 years, 7 months after climbing the Queen Elizabeth Bridge over the Dartford crossing and unveiling the Just Stop Oil banner. Since he's been jailed, the Home Office has served him, because he's German, with a deportation notice. Well, more than 150,000 people have signed a petition against the Home Office's decision. The question I'm asking is pretty straightforward, really. Should we deport him? Joining me now for this head-to-head is Just Stop Oil spokesman and retired Dr Bing Jones and the co-founder of the Climate Debate UK. It's Ben Pyle. Both of you, thank you very much. Great to have you on the show. Ben, I'll start with you. Should we deport Decker?
Well, that's a decision for the Home Office to make, obviously, and the Secretary of State and so on. But what I think really this speaks to is the fact that very often protesters of this kind get themselves into these kinds of scrapes, and then they act all surprised when the law is applied to them, and they believe that they can recycle a litany of catastrophic climate events that they believe is ahead of us in order to try and escape conviction for those crimes. If any of us were going to climb a bridge and disrupt traffic for days on end, causing chaos for hundreds of thousands of people, we would expect exactly that kind of treatment. We would expect that of someone visiting this country. They would be deported. So I think what we really need to do, I think the problem at root is the fact that our society has failed to confront environmentalism of this kind. It's radical ideology, quite weird ideology, very different to what how most people see the world. And
I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you on this. So I want to get Dr. Bing in. Look, this guy's a criminal. He's serving a sentence, and once he's out of prison, he should be deported to Germany. No.
No, of course not. I'm just so relieved that all of these remarkable people have actually finally stuck their head above the parapet and said something's really wrong here. Look, it is absolutely wrong. Just plain wrong.
OK, all right, look, why? This guy's a criminal. This guy is a criminal. He's committed a criminal offence. He doesn't have a right to live in Britain. I mean, why should he enjoy this country and have the kind of freedoms that we normally have here for law-abiding citizens and expect to just be able to go back out into society so we can climb a bridge again?
Look, if we were in normal times, then we should all obey all the rules. But the fact is that we're in absolutely exceptional times. And this man is a really lovely person. He's already served 14 months in prison. And we've had only a few days ago somebody from the United Nations, their special rapporteur, saying that there was something really wrong about the British severity of hammering climate criminals.
Right.
But there's something really important about protest. Protest is a part of a healthy democracy. And this kind of severity...
He did, with respect, Dr. Bing, he committed quite a serious crime, right? He climbed a bridge, he stopped traffic, people might have stopped in the back of ambulances as a result of this or not get to cancer appointments, potentially millions of pounds lost to our economy. Look, I'll come back to you, but Ben, can you respond to that this guy, you know, look, because he's a climate protester and he's got a very important cause, you know, we're far too harsh here in Britain, and this is morally unconscionable that we should be deporting him back over to Germany.
Well, I don't see how much softer it can really be. I mean, most of the protesters of these kind do get off, and they don't go to prison, or they get very light sentences, or community orders and things of that kind. And so there's no society apparently has no ability to sanction these individuals or these movements, and so they just carry on, and they make it very clear that they don't believe that the rules apply to them, whatever they think entitles them to do it, and they make it clear they're going to do it again, and they're going to do it again until they get their way, which is a very radical interpretation of net zero, I believe, by 2025, according to Extinction Rebellion or things of that nature. And of course, even if we gave into their demands, their immediate demands, then another clone of XR or JSO is just going to set itself up and create new radical.
Dr. Bing, can I ask you, Dr. Bing, have you committed crimes? Have you committed crimes as a result of the climate agenda?
Yes, I have.
Right, and have you been sent to prison?
I've never been to prison, but
how many crimes have you committed? How many crimes have you committed?
I have been arrested multiple times, and I've done it because I felt that was the only honourable thing to do.
Right, fine, but you can't say, with respect, you can't say, no, I'm going to let you respond. I'm going to let you respond after this question. With respect, you can't sit there and simultaneously say that the UN is saying that we're an absolute shocker. You yourself have committed multiple crimes, been arrested in multiple crimes. You've never faced a day behind bars whatsoever. You know, you're able and out free to go and talk to me. And to be honest, it sounds like you're going to do it again, right? So, I mean, we're not that bad, are we, really?
The real criminals, Patrick, are the people that Ben supports. We've got two different narratives here. One narrative is from every single reputable, independent scientific agency, which says that we're facing the worst climate.
But in a very practical sense, Dr. Bing, to be fair, you are the criminal, right? And you've not actually faced any kind of impact on your life. I mean, seriously, we are not that bad, are we? In loads of other countries, you'd be locked up.
The United Nations envoy for human rights has basically said that the United Kingdom is bad. He should really be
here we are.
And banana republics in South America. But he's coming here. And he's coming here because people like Ben here, who is paid essentially by the fossil fuel industry and those that support them, is telling a narrative which is completely wrong.
Okay. All right, go on. Let him respond to that, because that's a accusation, isn't it, Ben? Go on.
Yeah, unfortunately, Bing doesn't speak for the organisations he claims the authority of, and he doesn't know anything about where I get my money. So I mean, it's just a conspiracy theory and slander.
One at a time. Ben.
You are a representative of an organisation which is supported by funds from the Koch brothers. So you are a defender.
I think you're either hallucinating or you're lying. You don't know what you're talking about.
So is that just categorically right? Let's just, because I want to return to the topic in hand. Can I just ask a very straightforward question then, Ben? Is anything that Dr. Bing said there true about, for the sake of clarity, right, about your funding and about that? Is that true? Yes or no?
No, right. I'm funded by people subscribing to my Substack and making small donations to my website.
Right. Well, we will have to leave that particular bit of this debate there, because I have not got time, and neither do my viewers and listeners, to go through Companies House. Right. So we're going to have to take that on the chin, I'm afraid. Bing, look, when it comes to this particular individual now, if we let him out of prison, right, he's going to do it again. Why? Is this not symptomatic of the self-entitlement of a lot of the people in the climate agenda, right? That they think they can smash the living heck out of cities, bring people's lives to a standstill, stop people getting to appointments, and then it's wrong that they end up in prison. Oh, we can't possibly deport this particular guy. It's absolutely horrendous. I mean, why are you guys the kind of protected species?
Patrick, that's complete rubbish. It's nonsense. Everybody who does any a protest who gets arrested pays the price. I have paid vast amounts of money. I've done community service. I've done lots of things. And the reason I've done it is because it's the only way to raise the issue. Because you guys in the media are constantly telling a different story. You're telling the fossil fuel industry story, right, and you're not telling...
You're always on the media, right? Just Stop Oil are always on the media. You are always on my show. You are always across this channel. You are always across other channels. There is no need for you to try to ruin people's lives. There is no need.
How do we get people onto your channel? Do we get onto your channel by being nice, or by writing to a politician, or talking to somebody down to the pub? We get onto your programs because of people like Marcus, who actually put their lives on the line, because our whole world is actually being threatened massively, and we have got to do something about it. And people like Ben are selling a story which is false.
Can I just ask you, Bing?
See, by sticking their head out of the window, they can see, they can smell the smoke, they can see the fires. We're facing record after record after record. The world is in deep, deep trouble, and we're not doing anything about it. Right. We should have sorted it out years ago, and we haven't done it. We've got to start.
Ben, can you come back to that? I mean, look, if we just take this at face value, crime committed. Zero remorse, and you've got these celebrities, the likes of Bob Geldof and all of that lot piping up about it as well, saying this particular person shouldn't be deported. I mean, I'm not really sure they want to deport anyone. I mean, there was that quite famous flight that included murderers and rapists that they didn't want people deported on either, is there? So, although not necessarily those actors specifically, I'm at pains to stress. But, what do you think of all this, Ben? Go on.
Well, there is a cause célèbre. I mean, these celebrities think very much of themselves, much as the way GSO activists, environmental activists think of themselves, and they don't mind imposing themselves on people and telling the rest of the world how it should behave. But they're not coming out in defence of people who are going to have to suffer from the net zero agenda. They're not coming out in defence of the people who have lost their jobs at the steelworks because of policies like net zero. They're not coming out in defence of people who are losing their mobility because of green regulations, and they're not coming out in protesting about the rising energy bills that they're facing, or the closures of their businesses or their industries. So there's a lot of hypocrisy and cant about these celebs, making a big deal and flattering themselves and the likes of Just Stop Oil to essentially try and normalise this, to try and make to try and lend their household names to actually quite a weird and radical political idea.
But can I ask you, Bing, seriously, what have you actually been charged with in the past then? What have you mentioned that you'd faced a penalty and a punishment. Could you just rattle off what it is that you've actually been found guilty of, or what's your criminal record?
I've been arrested loads of times, but I've only ever been found guilty for blocking a road, willful obstruction of the highway, and for causing a public nuisance, which was also blocking a road. Right. And look, Ben is talking there about imposing. The people who are imposing are the fossil fuel industry and people who are stopping us from limiting our global emissions. Every single agency throughout the world, including the IPCC, says that we have to halve our emissions. We have got to just
people don't want that
as soon as possible. It's the only way forwards is to stop emissions, to halve them.
Bing, if I came round to your house, right? If I came round to your house and broke into it, and then I did it again, and I did it again, and I did it again, you'd want me in prison, wouldn't you?
Just because somebody breaks the law is not necessarily bad. There are lots of people who are breaking the law. Our own government is breaking the law.
There we go. Right, okay.
And there are some people who are demonstrating. I'm not breaking into anybody's house.
Well, you're sitting down in a road, or this particular person's causing a lot of issues for people, etc. It just does seem like, you kind of want to be a bit of a protected species. Look, it obviously isn't going to stop you guys, which is, fair enough in a way, and no doubt we will talk again. Chaps, thank you very much. It was a cracking head-to-head, that. It was just Stop Oil spokesman and retired Dr. Bing Jones, co-founder of the Climate Debate UK, Ben Pyle. Right, OK.